It is Cursed Curator here with.
ADOS, the gangster, because it's 1927. This is our first single year episode. We are doing just 1927 today.
Which is pretty cool. You know what I fucked up with this.
Hmm.
So while we were listening to 2027, I watched up until midway of 1926.
Wait, you didn't watch anything from 1927?
No. I
Oh,
read. So I actually not read. I watched all of 1927 up to mid 1929.
oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I kind of thought that's what we were doing.
I should have been more clear. Either way, it's fine. We have plenty to talk about. We have, like I said, the first Oscars. We got a decent number of films for this year. Uh, we have a lot to go through.
Can I talk about the first movie, please?
What's the first movie?
Is
Oh, hell yeah.
Metropolis. Okay. So Metropolis is, if not one of the most important movies ever for a fanboy like me. So Metropolis is how do I say this? It is a proto cyberpunk film. Yes, you heard me correct. A proto cyberpunk film. It will basically have a lot of what what cyberpunk would have, but it does not all the way there yet. It's so one. The first important thing about cyberpunk is that it always ends grim, or it's very ambiguous. But it's leading more towards it's going to end badly. But with Metropolis, it ends on a really good note, which is not good for a cyberpunk film or show or movie. Because it's supposed to be bad. That's kind of the point.
Yes, to establish some context, Metropolis is a German film which is based on a novel by the same name. It is a dystopian sci fi movie and is probably one of the first feature length of both.
The funny part
Um,
is,
I'm, sh-
sorry.
I'm sure there were other sci fi films, but none on this scale.
So while it is a dystopian, it's based upon a utopian society. Although clearly it's not that at all. Trust.
Yeah,
It's a whole thing there. So I try to talk about the trivia. It's very important for this film at the very least. Unlike other films, this film but so if you don't know, around this time, a certain thing was happening to the Germans. Like really, really
hyperinflation.
badly. Inflation was absolutely at its height. And unemployment was so bad in Germany at this time is that the producers literally had no trouble finding 500 children for the flooding scene.
Is this the point in German history where inflation got so bad that people started using money as wallpaper?
Yeah. So, Fritz Lang wanted 4,000 bald extras for Tower Babel, whatever the fuck people say. Um, but he's only able to find 1,000 people actually willing to do it. They shave their head. Um, it was so hot when they were doing this though. It was such a pain in the ass, and lots of people got like, sunburns on their actual scalps and shit. It was
Oh,
so ass. Um, So this is kind of a weird thing is that the multiple exposed sequences were not actually done in a lab, but during the film, like actually right on set. Usually it would be in a lab for a kind of film like this.
a
Um,
studio?
yeah. So this is a bit of a darker fun fact, not really fun at all, and it's not for so it's a character that will well, it's not really a character, it's an actual person, but they will play a large role in the 30s for my people, and the
Oh
40s.
no, that's not good.
Uh, Adolf Hitler and Joseph Goebbels were big fans of this film. Um, Goebbels,
Well, hold up. Hold up. Did they watch the film?
yes.
The whole film is like anti-authoritarian.
So the director, the creator of this film, was Jewish, but Goebbels, I kid you not, he would meet with Lang and he told him that he would make him an honorary Aryan despite his Jewish background. Mr. Lang told him, Mr. Lang, we decided who was Jewish and who was not. Lang would then leave for Paris that very same night.
And by the way, Lang would start a very successful American film career.
Yeah. Um, it's kind of funny that they say we decide because that's actually what they did often.
Yeah. Um, I have a couple fun facts about this film. Uh, the first one being that thing that we always say, and the thing that I'm going to repeat. This was the most expensive film made up to this point. This film was stupid expensive and flopped hard at the box office. People just weren't really interested in it. And the film was considered lost for many, many years and has only very recently become fully unearthed, even if a lot of the film is still in poor quality. Uh,
um, so
Now,
yep.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
So this is two more fun facts. Let's tell that here. This film is from random ass film from 1927. It would have large, mega huge impact on two franchises. Well, one of them more than the other. If you know anything about Superman, well, you know his city Metropolis is actually named after this film.
Which is strange considering this whole film is about social inequality.
Yeah. So Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the co-creators, or rather, the creators of Superman, actually cite that they actually did name it after this film, this fucking film, because they actually liked the film. And the other
Hmm.
character that is impacted by this is well none other than C-3PO, you know, from Star Wars, because they
Oh
resemble.
yeah,
Yeah.
the to kind of give context, there is a actually I think it's one of the posters. Most of the posters actually reference this. The robot woman who takes the main girl's identity and starts a revolution to help the rich people, which very complex plot for 1927. I suppose we should kind of get into notes about the movie.
Yes.
This is before we do anything. I think we just need to say it without teasing it. This is the 10.
Easy 10.
Yeah, no, there's no argument. I knew you weren't going to argue about it. It's a 10. This is amazing. This is a masterpiece of filmmaking. I'm pretty sure even the stingiest critics will give this film a 10. This is amazing. The plot is revolutionary and surprisingly nuanced. You would imagine a dystopia film about social inequality, the message would just be eat the rich. Shockingly, it isn't. The message is, I think the quote goes, the hearts and the hands must work together. The hearts referring to the rich people, the hands referring to the poor people.
Yeah. So obviously I'm biased automatically because you know it's my people, but ignoring my own people for a second, it's from a genre, or rather, this thing will basically help jumpstart a genre I'm in love with. You know, cyberpunk,
Sci-fi? Oh yeah,
sci-fi, but you know the subgenre cyberpunk. You know,
yeah,
this film is so important, and it's such a weird thing to me that so many people ignore its existence or outright say that it is not cyberpunk. It is clearly rooted in cyberpunk, or rather, it itself kind of rooted with cyberpunk would become. Um, I mean, it's you
yeah.
know it's clear that it itself is not cyberpunk, but it has so many elements of cyberpunk that you can basically say, oh yeah, it's cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would personally refer to it more so as an early sci-fi film, but it definitely gives the dark, crowded city vibes that you're looking for in that kind of genre.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in general, the vibes of this film are immaculate. They really do a great job of, or Fritz Lang does a great job of immersing you into the world of Metropolis and making it feel like its own world.
Yeah.
It is very distinct from 1920s Germany or 1920s New York, which I'm presuming the film's setting is partially based off New York, uh, given the Art Deco architecture.
So one thing I find kind of interesting about this film is so while we would see a few more attempts based around this film, you know, a remake of some sort later, for sure is one.
Mm.
Um, it would never really be used again by anybody. I'm like, why not? This film, you like some random dude is like, hey yo, this can be used for like a whole new book series, a whole new set of movies, a whole new comic series. It is so teeming with things you could use, but it's untouched. I think it's purely
Eh,
because of like respect. Like it's hard to top this.
Hey, Hollywood, I know we're a nobody channel with 8 subscribers, but the 100-year anniversary of this film is coming up.
Speaking of, the film itself is set in 2026.
You know, you know, it would be perfect. I think it would be perfect at least. So yeah, like I said, the plot is great. The cinematography is wonderful. Pretty much the acting is really good, though I think the lady who plays the robot version of herself kind of overdoes it. I don't know how you felt about that.
I felt that way, although I feel bad for her overall because the outfit, she was wearing, she said it was extremely uncomfortable and she actually got tons of bruising from it.
The robot suit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet it was the 20s. No one cares about your health or safety.
Yep.
Uh, so yeah, what were your thoughts on this film as a outside of its influence on the many genres it has influenced over the many
I
years?
thought that it was immaculate. That it easily rivals of a film I gushed over last time. That is like pure cinema, literally untouchable. Um, I thought that it was amazingly paced. It did not overstay its welcome in many spots, which I liked.
Which is
It
crazy for a film that's 2 hours long.
Yeah. The props were amazingly well done. The costumes were well done. How everything was done was amazing. But this is actually one of the few times where the actual director outright says they do not like their own film. The creator of this, Lang, actually did not like the film after it was done.
Interesting. I can see why, given that this film, strangely enough, was criticized by both audiences by it failing, and critics hated it, which is strange. They said it was communist, and my first thought is, did you watch the film?
I
It's
can,
not communist.
yeah, like I can see how someone might think it though. There are some aspects where I'm like, okay, I can see it, but not really.
No, like I can understand why a paranoid German guy in the 20s would assume that this is communist propaganda, but if you think about it for more than 2 seconds, it's very clearly not communist. It is very clearly still fine with a capitalist market system. It's just like the rich people got to work together with the poor people. That's the movie. That's what it's about.
Yeah. Um,
It's also banned in the Soviet Union for being capitalist. I'm pretty sure.
so this film would achieve 5 million Reichsmarks, which would be equivalent to today's U.S. dollars, about $200 million.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it didn't make up the budget though.
It did not. Not
God
at
damn, that must
all.
have been an expensive movie. Uh, I think. Do you have any other notes on Metropolis? It's a huge kind of movie to talk about, though.
There are hundreds of fun facts I tell you about this movie. There's hundreds. The only thing I will say is it's kind of neat to just mention because this is a movie we'll probably be talking about later, way later, because it's in 1964. The Rot Wing's mechanical right hand was later imitated in Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
Oh, that movie.
Yes.
It's weird that we keep talking about movies that are going to be referenced, and we're going to have to talk about them and probably retread to. Hey, Metropolis.
Yes. This film, as you said, it did inspire, the sci-fi renaissance later. Um, this is a film that touched on a lot of genres. None more than Cyberpunk, of course. That's my own opinion, really. But this is where things get a little because the Nazis were really fans of this film because it really helped inspire all these plans of Germania and the whole giga capital city.
Again, it's that thing of like, did anyone watch this film?
Like there's ways of that you can interpret the film. There's a whole lot of interpretations. So yeah,
I understand that, but it just these interpretations feel precisely the opposite of how the film was very obviously meant to be interpreted.
well, of
It's not
course,
a hard film to read.
of course. But when you live in a society that are is fractured like the Germans were, it's pretty easy to warp a movie's messaging to fit your narrative, which is
Oh,
well,
yeah, I don't doubt that. I suppose that is true. It's just it is funny in hindsight looking back on it.
yeah. This film would be parodied to hell though. While yeah, it would never receive any other like full on like movie iterations that you besides some remakes here and there or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It would be parody to hell, and we would see this throughout even to now. Funnily enough.
Oh.
So this film actually has one of the largest numbers of extras in existence. 25,000.
20,000?
25,000 extras.
I guess I never thought of it, but there's a lot of extras in this movie.
Yes. This is a very, very special film.
Does that mean that you could measure a percentage of the German population that were involved in this movie? Like it wasn't just like you could measure it as a percentage.
Yes. Oh, and before we get to the next film, this film, the film's footage was used in the British rock band's Queen's music video, Radio Gaga.
You know what? Pop off. Oh god, we're about to talk about another epic, like one of those film student films, Napoleon.
Oh,
Did you watch the? Did you watch the whole film?
yes.
You watched all 7 hours of Napoleon?
Yes.
Do you need help?
No, I have a speech prepared, but I'm gonna save that.
Uh, Napoleon. This is a like I said, 7 hour film about the early life of Napoleon, and is considered the swan song of the silent epic, which I think is a really beautiful title for this film and is very fitting. Uh, I feel the speech incoming, so I'm going to shut my mouth.
Hold on, I need water so you can speak us a little bit more.
Personally, I think this film is lovely. My only problem with it is the length. Now, the film never overstays its welcome, in my opinion. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong about how long the movie is, right? It functions, it's good. But it's hard to recommend any movie that requires multiple intermissions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so now to how do I begin with this lovely film? You know what? There's no other way to say than citizens of the silver screen, citizens of courage and conviction. Today we stand at the precipice of greatness, staring into the monumental legacy of Abel Grace's Napoleon. It's not just a film, my friends. It is an artillery barrage of genius! A cultural coordination that crowns cinema as the emperor of all art forms. Picture it! A sweeping, thundering, heart-pounding epic that takes you by the labels, throws you onto a galloping steed, and drags you through the French Revolution with such intensity that your popcorn may start to rot on its own. Abel Gantz's didn't just make a movie, he created a masterpiece of moving history. He put the technique so daring the film gods themselves must have sat up and taken notes. Polyvision, Gantz said. Why stop at this one screen? Why give you free? But try such finale is like getting hit with triple dose of synthetic adrenaline. It's the IMAX in 1927. Those close-up shots of Napoleon's eyes, they burn with fire. It screams, I am destiny incarnate. In the scale, the sheer scale! Armies clash, emotions flare, and revolution feathers burst from the screen with such power that you could make the Marcellus booming in a domely surround sound. This is the film that made cinema a battlefield of innovation. Napoleon is a legend, the cinematic equivalent of conquering Europe, armed with only a camera, a vision, and unyielding belief in the magic of storytelling. It is a grand, it is daring, it is, dare I say it, the very Bonaparte of films. So raise your banners, grab your tricorn hats, and march not to glory, but to the nearest screen. For Napoleon doesn't just demand it, but to be seen, he commands it. Viva Revolution, the cinema. Long live Napoleon.
That would have been a good ad read if we were sponsored by a public domain film. I will say, I think the one thing I can agree most to about that speech is that watching Napoleon is a conquest. This is the listen. I love this film. I gave this film a 9. I love 1927's Napoleon. I have so much trouble recommending this film to people I know, which is why I said it's hard. Because Could you imagine how crazy I sound trying to recommend a 7-hour silent film about a historical figure to someone? I would sound like a madman.
So this film, to me, now this would be a rare thing for me to do. I will never do this again, probably, or I will. I'll take it back because we have a lot of history still to go over. This film to me is another 10. It's just that fucking good.
It is important to mention that 1927 is considered one of the best years in film history, so it is not completely abnormal for this year to have multiple tens. Myself, I have a singular 10, but that's because I'm stingy with them. Uh, Even though there's only one 10, there's multiple nines from this year because 1927 is a golden year for film. Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, no, this does have two tens. So even by my strict standards, this is a amazing year for film.
So, this film actually does have a very important piece of trivia because it's actually one of the times where we would lose a scene because censors said "fuck you." Um,
Oh no.
there was a scene that was of an execution of citizens by soldiers. The camera is used like a bullet, zooming towards one human target, then to another, then another, then another. The sequence is lost, although one still photograph still exists.
Oh my god, that sounds like an amazing shot. That's another thing is I've been talking a lot about cinematography recently. The cinematography in this film is absolutely gorgeous. There's so many shots. The shot you mentioned earlier, where they essentially split it into three screens horizontally, kind of making a pseudo proto IMAX thing going on, and that is beautiful. It looks great. I have no idea how that would have actually worked in theaters, since I doubt most theaters had a special screen just to screen Napoleon.
Yeah. This film unfortunately was dragged down by fascism. Unfortunately. Um, many
And the
critics.
fact I assume it was a hard pitch to sell to people.
It was a lot of very fucked up things that happened. There was a lot of coincidences that happened. So around the same time, a certain Benito would rise up in Italy and was deemed to be 20th century Napoleon. And during the occupation of France, Abel Gance was seen as supportive of the Vichy regime, and
Uh,
he even praised publicly Marshal Philippe Pétain. So that didn't help at all. So yeah,
oh, yay! I hate how much we have to talk about fascism this episode. This is, oh, it's only going to keep happening, isn't it?
yeah. Don't worry. At some point, we'll start talking about it. So it's my competency even more.
The communism stuff is funnier because it's less like, I mean, yeah, it's horrible things happen, but it's also like, funny communist movie making fun of Trotsky. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but so you clearly liked Napoleon quite a lot, and you gave it a 10. I gave it a 9. I think there are a few things that drag it down, but if I were to rewatch it, there is a good chance it could get a 10 because that was a good movie. If
Yeah.
to the people in the audience for Metropolis, if you can watch it because it is amazing. It's on YouTube. If you can watch Napoleon, now that's the big if you can watch it because it's going to be difficult to get through it all. But if you can get through it, I promise you it is a rewarding experience if you are a veteran to silent film, like we are at this point. If you don't watch a lot of silent film, save it for later. This is a bit much for most people. Though, with that, let's talk about the next film. And I'm sure you're going to splooge all over it because we are talking about another early Soviet propaganda film.
Oh,
October, 10 Days That Shook the World, also known as Pieces for Nerds Overthrow the Government. Can I just rant about this movie for a second?
sure.
This movie is on a level of pettiness I didn't even know was possible. Not only is this film's core message, don't try to peacefully install communism, just overthrow the government, you stupid nerd. There's also a lot of weird, like, anti Trotsky messaging in the film.
Oh, that's for very
There's
important reasons.
there's multiple scenes where they're just like, "Hey, Trotsky, he's a stupid loser. Don't listen to that guy."
So there's a reason for that. There was actually I'm sure you might not know actually, but there was a lot of infighting between the Soviets on who would be the leader, and I think you know who won that in the end.
I don't know if you can say winning when you just execute everyone who opposed you, but yes,
Well, you win because there's nobody left standing. You still win.
sure. A win's a win, as they say.
Yeah. So this film, chef's fucking kiss, by the way. So the assault on the Winter Palace had, so excuse me, it required 11,000 extras. In
Thousand?
yeah, 11,000 extras to be done.
Did they just put up a sign going, "Hey, show up to this film and pretend it's the revolution again"?
Yeah. So the entire left portion of the fucking city was blacked out. So for this film.
So this was a undertaking of a project.
Yes, at a city level.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
Now, of course, I prepared a speech.
Another
This
speech?
yeah. We love my lovely voice, so it'll be great. Uh, Comrades, cinephiles, and keepers of a cinematic flame, let us unite under the crimson banner of October, 10 Days That Shook the World. A film that doesn't just chronicle history, but seizes it by the collar and drives it kicking and screaming onto the screen. Sergei Eisenstein didn't just make a film. He forged the hammer and sickle of celluloid, cleaving through the bourgeoisie mundanity of storytelling to unleash the raw and relentless power of revolution. Is that just your grandmother's history lesson, comrades? October is a hurricane of montage. A symphony of smashing statues, storming palaces, and rising to the rise of the proletariat. As the thing wields its camera like a revolutionary blade, slicing through time and space with cuts so sharp they could divide the atom. Every frame is a call to arms. Every sequence a declaration of war against the oppression. Every shot a firework exploding in the name of the people. Do you feel the thunder, Oz, of the aura? Do you see the massive storming of Winter Palace not as actors, but as living bodies of a revolution? This film doesn't just depict the events of Act 17, it summons them. By the end, you're not just watching history, you're living it. You'll want to storm your home kitchen and reach your snacks. In the symbolism, oh, the symbolism. A broken bridge isn't just a bridge, it is a shattered dream of autocracy. Will leave you gasping, cheering, and possibly writing a manifesto of your own. I did, by the way. October is a cinema. Is cinema. As it was meant to be bold, uncompromising, and ablaze with passion. It doesn't ask you to sit idly by. It demands you to rise up and embrace the fire revolution, even if it isn't just in your heart. So, comrades, raise your fists and raise your popcorns high. Watch October, not just as a film, but as a testament to the power of the people and the art of cinema itself. History wasn't just shaken, it was utterly overthrown.
Um,
Yes.
I think they needed to stop cutting to that cheap statue of Napoleon. I think that was a little overdone, but you know, it was probably the best of the Soviet propaganda films. If you were to if the referring to the viewer, not you, either, I know you've seen it. If you were to read my letterbox review, I think I referred to this film as a victory lap because that's how this feels. It doesn't feel so much as a film about communism or a historical depiction of what's going on. It feels like going, haha, we won, fuck you.
Basically.
Uh, yeah, that's essentially what's happening. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's serviceable as a plot, and I definitely think it is a lot more fun to watch. I feel like I've participated in the revolution despite being not alive for 100 years before it happened, and also not being alive when it fell. Don't worry about it. Either way,
You know, it's kind of
uh,
crazy that if I was born just a year sooner, I would have been alive for the Soviet Union's collapse.
you wouldn't have remembered much,
Oh, of course.
but oh, really dating yourself there, Scyther. Uh, I I wanted to like October a lot more than I did. I think it is, like I said, the best of the propaganda films, but that's not saying much. I didn't like any of the Soviet propaganda films. I gave this a 5.
I as a true revolutionary, gave it a easy 4.
Oh, you didn't think it was that great either?
It was boring.
Oh shit. Yeah. So now that I've given my review and kind of thoughts on the film, what did you think of the film outside of your desire to overthrow the government?
It was a literal fucking jerk off fest of, oh yeah, we won. Now watch us fucking brag about it. It was so fucking boring, especially if you know history about it. It was so fucking sad what they fucking did. It was so fucking sad what they fucking did. It was fucking innocent children. They did not deserve that. They really didn't. And they were all swim
Okay.
scum. All of them.
Okay, so you've got. I see. All right. Yeah. So the speech was more so how the film made you feel when you weren't thinking about it too much.
This
Uh,
film is actual garbage just because there's like a little brag fest about their how they're overthrowing the fucking damn monarchy. But what they don't tell you about, they don't tell you about this because it makes them look bad. Because of course it would. It would make any look bad. Of how they killed the damn Romanovs. Of how they butchered every single damn little boy and girl. Of how they just tossed them in random unmarked graveyards. Like, oh yeah, nobody cares about them. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, what the fuck's wrong with you fuckers?
oh, and no, Twitch doesn't keep the VODs for more than 7 days. We're good. Um, so yeah, 4 and a 5. I think that's pretty close. We're gonna talk about it. I think this is an Oscar-winning film, Seventh Heaven.
This film, oh, I have so many fun facts for this one.
Here's my first fun fact. It was mid.
So, this lovely film received the most nominations at the first ever Academy Award ceremony with
Which
5.
we will be talking about once we cover all the films.
Yep. So, this film, it is the 13th highest grossing silent film in history, taking in more than $2.5 million at the box office.
I'm disappointed it wasn't that good.
So this film would also be selected to the National Film Registry in the Library of Congress in 1995. Also, the film cost Fox about 1.3 million to make. Yeah, you heard me right, Fox.
Million?
No,
This film
Fox.
didn't look that expensive. Oh,
So Fox, it cost them 1.3 million to make. No joke.
that seems excessive.
So something else to note is that this is the film that basically that would establish Fox as a major film studio.
Fair enough. That's really interesting. Um, this film, just to kind of give a brief summary of the plot, is about a Parisian guy. I think he works in a sewer, right? He's like a
Yes.
sewer worker,
Yeah.
and he meets a prostitute, or I think she's a prostitute. I have no idea. It's kind of hard to figure out. He meets a girl of ill repute. How about we say that? And they fall in love, and they live in their little weird house at the top of a tower or something. And they end up no the sewer man ends up getting drafted into World War I because haha topical. 10 years since World War I really started ending. 1918, but you know what I mean. Um, and that's kind of the movie. The ending was kind of stupid.
So this film shares a name with another thing. They're not related, by the way. I'm pretty sure. Um,
I hope you're not referring to adult film.
no, it's a TV show. Um,
Oh,
also named Seventh Heaven. Um, we
oh
will probably
shit!
talk about it later, though.
I see.
Yeah, it first abused in 1996, I believe, and it actually lasted for a pretty long time, 11 seasons, which is pretty long for that time.
I presume the plots have nothing to do with each other.
No, not from what I understand at all.
Probably just a similar title.
Yeah,
If you couldn't tell from my summary of this film, I was not a huge fan of Seventh Heaven. Oh my god, I was harsh on this film. What did you think of this?
I thought it was okay. It was a 6.
I gave it a 4. It was kind of dry and really melodramatic. Like, I Some people give silent film a reputation for being overdramatic, but personally, I think it's overblown, except for cases like this. Because, oh my goodness gracious, fuck, this film is trying way too hard to be sad. It wasn't great. But you want to talk about a film that is great?
Oh yeah, Sunrise.
Sunrise, A Tale of Two Humans, which, first thing I gotta say, the title is really modern sounding.
What was a song of two humans?
Shit, you got it right. Fuck, I got the title wrong. It is a song of two humans. Either way, the title sounds modern. This is a film with a really terrible sounding plot, but it's actually really amazing. The film is about a guy who falls in love with a different woman other than his wife from the city. He's a country guy, a farmer, I believe, or I think he's a cow rancher. And he ends up giving so much for this woman. And the woman eventually says, "Hey, I want you to kill your wife so we can be together." Which, firstly, what the fuck?
Based.
I know, right? Like, whoa, what? Hey, I really want to be with you. So could you just commit murder real fast?
I mean, for back then times, you probably do it with no issue for real.
I I suppose. But
I mean,
uh,
my grandfather killed his son and wife, and he got away with it. So, I mean, and
oh my god, I can't believe you just pulled that lore out of nowhere.
I mean, it happened, and it literally happened like fucking like 30 or so years ago. So, and he was able to do it. So how couldn't I do it back then? Fucking go crazy, man. Shit.
That's fair. It isn't fair. It's terrible and horrific, but you know what I mean.
I can't make a name wiki about us. Oh yeah,
All the
cipher lore.
crazy shit we say. I swear to God, all the things we say, we don't like to exaggerate here. So no, we're pretty much everything we say is true unless we're trying to be sarcastic. Uh, so yes, the plot is he's about to drown his wife in a boat. Which, firstly, this seems like a really shitty way to kill someone. I'm just saying this seems like a really inefficient way to murder.
It's been poisoner. Be
But
done with it.
but then I guess we wouldn't have a movie. Um, so that's fine. We cut to him. He's about to drown his wife, and as the second he looks at her, and her eyes kind of give that look of like, "Oh fuck, oh shit," right? Like she's realizing what's about to happen. He hesitates, and he realizes something. He has that moment that I think probably not in this exact situation, or at least I hope to God not in this situation that a lot of us have had, where we realize that we fucked up, and we also realize that it's probably too late.
Mm.
Which is a horrible feeling to have, though in this situation, warranted. Um, he then the rest of the film is dedicated to him rediscovering his love for his wife and his wife learning to trust him again. And it is a really beautiful story. And another cool thing, I don't know if you noticed this, Scyther. You probably did to some extent. Um, did you notice only the first half of the film has title cards?
Yeah, it was because so the director actually hated them. It was become non-existent by the end of the movie.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
so the creator of a film, from what I understand, he hated title cards.
when you realize the average feature length film had over 100 title cards, that, you know.
Yeah. I love how the movie ends and just bitch gets yeeted into the water.
I know, they just like, murder's bad, but only when it's my wife.
Yeah, it was a it was a little bit of meme there.
So
Um,
I guess it's a fitting ending. Like you told someone to kill their wife, and then you're like, no, you.
the way I view it is personally, I don't think she just dies. I doubt she dies from that. This is me.
Yeah,
She can just literally get out of the carriage, just crawl out.
I'm just messing around, but yeah, it is a very sweet film. I do want to mention something that deeply distressed me when I watched this film. Not because of animal abuse or anything, just more that we don't have it anymore. Do you remember the scene where they go to the carnival and they play that game where you hit a baseball at a target so that a piglet can go down a slide?
Hmm.
What the fuck? Why don't we do that anymore?
I'm not sure.
I guess it's an animal rights problem, but like, come on, guys, give us
So
the cute piglets.
this film, or rather the actress who played the one from the city, she is
Mm.
so her life, much like many other actresses, just sucked, but not in the way you might think. Her life sucked
Mm.
because she always wanted children, but she could never have them. Her body would not allow for it. But she would end up
Ugh.
adopting four children, which many actors would end up doing anyway for one reason or another. Be it for her situation or was like, oh, that's all to do, we shouldn't do, let's just adopt. um she in fact was smart, one of the few smart actors and actresses, even compared to today, I guess. She said to herself, hey yo, I'm gonna retire from acting. I made a fucking fat stack, like, let's invest this shit in actual stuff. She did that, by the way. She invested so she blew up the oil industry.
You're telling me a Hollywood actress from the 20s dominated the oil industry?
She did pretty good.
That is wild. Okay, girl power, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
she would invest in oil ventures and real estate. She also was a partner in the construction of the Colonial House, which is a
oh,
very important place in West Hollywood.
oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
That's really interesting.
she
What did
starred.
you think of Sunrise? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
She starred in a lot of films for a actress in that time frame. A whole
Oh
lot of
yeah, if you
films.
look at her like her IMDb or her letterbox page, oh my god. Woman
So,
did not stop. And
yeah.
good for her. Clearly
So
it paid off.
I thought this film was interesting. Just
Mm.
storytelling wise, it was clearly a league of its own. It was better than most of the stuff we've seen thus far, honestly.
Mhm. Yeah.
Of course, it pales in comparison to Metropolis and the other bad boy I ranked at way above a 10.
Napoleon.
So Napoleon, this is a really good film. It's really hard for me to. It's like I want to give it a 10, but I don't want to be the guy that hands out tens like that.
To be fair, this would be the year to do it.
Man, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna give it another 10.
To be fair, most of your tens, I haven't really disagreed with them too hard. I did give this film a 9. I do think there could have been some minor improvements. I don't think it's perfect, hence why I didn't give it a 10. Um, at least my standard of perfect, since there is no such thing. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I thought it was amazing. I just didn't think it was as good as it could have been simply because there was a few points where I felt like the film had a lull, and I think the second half of the film, while very cute, doesn't serve a narrative as much as it could have. I get what they're going for, but there's a few points where it's a little slow, which isn't to say this was a major detraction. It was a very minor nitpick, but that's how I am. This was an amazing film. I think for the beginning silent film goer, because this film only has title cards for the first half, this is really easy to watch. I think you could agree on that.
Yeah, this film needed more fucking fried chicken, honestly, for real.
As all things do. Uh, you know who doesn't need more fried chicken? The beloved Rogue. What he needs is some testosterone because that mustache is trying to flee his face.
Okay, this film. I have all sorts of comments on this film.
I did not like this film.
So are we sure
I
this is
thought
not
this
actually a
film
fucking
was so bad.
comedy?
I listed it as an adventure film.
Cause so I get why you call it an adventure film, but for me, it's purely a comedy.
I may have misjudged it. I didn't quite get it when I first watched it.
It's just weird to me how much of this film was pure memes. It was just
You,
fucking funny. Be real. I mean, I'm gonna be real. It was honestly been funnier than any shit that fucking Keaton, like not Keaton, fucking anything that fucking Chapman put out was fucking bar. I don't know how, but it was fucking funnier.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I didn't watch it too closely enough because I never interpreted it as a comedy, but I presume it is because that does sound pretty accurate. Also, was it Drew Barrymore's in it? So that's probably why I thought it was an adventure film. He doesn't really make comedies that much. Although it's entirely possible. What is this film? This film kind of just is the title, right? It's about a rogue.
Yeah, literally.
I think it's set in France.
I can't remember. You know what? Oh, let me fucking find my fucking fun
Don't they
facts.
talk about the King of the Fools in this film?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, so that's yeah, it's the film set in Paris. Uh, that's a Parisian thing that they talk about a lot in movies from the classic era for some reason.
All right, I am making fun facts. It's time to dish out the old fucking fun facts for people.
That are
Um,
sometimes not very fun and mostly just depressing.
so this what is this shit? You know what? These fucking fun facts actually kind of fucking suck dick. Do I actually? You know, okay, here we go. This film was considered lost until many years later, when the original tinting was found in late 1960s.
Oh, also I looked it up. IMDb categorizes it as an adventure drama.
Really? It was too fucking funny to me.
You might have not tried. It wasn't probably trying to be funny, but it is. I can see where you get the humor, especially with the wine scene.
So, fun fact: the exterior of this film is taken from the movie The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Oh, the silent one. I forgot to put that on the list. There's a silent Hunchback of Notre Dame.
which looks interesting.
We may have to actually. When did that film come out?
1923.
You know, if we wanted to revisit it, we could totally do a watch along since it's public domain now.
Ooh, you know that could be really cool. Mm.
If we ever get a big enough audience, we could definitely do a watch along.
Yep. Worst case scenario, if we don't, we can always do a recap for things we missed. Like, oh yeah, we missed this, or we just skipped it on purpose. Come back to it.
Yes, this is a great time to mention actually. If anyone has any suggestions, any things they want to see that are coming up, any things that we missed, and most importantly, anything that we got wrong, because I know I need to make a correction right now because I just remembered it and it's something I keep doing. I keep saying Al Johnson when I'm referring to the musician. And now that we're going to be talking about one of his big movies, it's Al Jolson. So therefore, any commenters will now be unable to make a comment. And I mean, what I mean by that is they'll still constantly correct me when I accidentally say Johnson. Uh, but back to the beloved Rogue. What did you think of it?
I thought it was funny, too funny for me to really take it seriously to keep it a buck with you.
That is fair. That is one way to watch it.
But at the same time, I could tell they were really trying to tell a good story, and that I'll applaud them for. But Lord, I could not take them seriously.
That outfit that John Barrymore wears,
Yeah.
it is ridiculous.
I get it trying to be historically accurate to some degree, but Jesus Christ.
It's historically accurate enough for the 1920s.
Oh man. This actually would be a film that would star a very important actor. Um, Dickie Moore, who is a former child star in The Little Rascals, and Oliver Twist.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know about that.
it's something that's kind of neat. I found it kind of cool, but oh wow, this like don't be wrong. I'm sure at one point he was big. To me, it's like that's really a nobody. But yeah, he was big at one point.
Interesting. I never thought about that.
Yep. So let me take a look at the list here. Next up is the General, which has a very fun bit of history that it was actually released in 1926, technically first in Japan, but
Yes.
for everybody else, well, America at very least, it would be in 1927.
Yeah, so okay, technically this is a 1926 film, but I'm not counting it because it came out literally New Year's Eve of 1926, only in two small theaters in Tokyo, and then came out in February for everyone else. It's a 1927 film. I am not budging on this.
That one who's like, actually.
It's 1927. All right. Um, other than the weird release date.
Ooh! This is my thing. I'm
Yes.
doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh
So
yeah. Sorry, I forgot. This whole film's about a train. I need to
yeah.
let you. I need to let you info dump about the train. 1 second.
So the film uses an authentic 19th century locomotive called the Willamette. It was a vintage 440 steam locomotive built in a style typical of the Civil War era. It was so cool. It also used multiple other locomotives, all pretty similar, to the same make almost, but they were all modified to appear like similar to the Civil War steam engines of the time. It also had an infamous crash scene where the train plunges off a burning bridge. That happened, by the way, that was actually real. And it would leave the wreckage that basically be a tourist attraction in Oregon for many, many decades after the filming.
Oh.
Yes, trains. I like trains.
I like trains.
I really want that wiki page now. My
I
name
love
quote.
that. Yeah, yeah, I thought the film I thought the train was really a good way to move the film forward and to keep the film interesting, as this is essentially a comedy about trains. And I say comedy, it's it's kind of a it's more of a proto action film.
Oh.
It is insane. There is so much going on uh in the general. Not only is there a lot of good stunts from Keaton, there is what is possibly the craziest thing I have ever seen in a film, just period, that they've actually done. Okay, so the big climax of the general, right,
Mm-hmm.
is that Buster Keaton gets a real train, lights it on fire, and drives it over a bridge that collapses while the train is going over it. This is not a model. This obviously isn't CGI. This isn't like an animation. This is all actually happening. And that is insanity.
Something very important about this film is the background stuff, and it's so fucking funny. So there actually was a train called the General, which was in Nashville, Chatunga, and so he got permission to use the train. But the very moment they even found out that was gonna be fucking for a damn comedy, they said no, never mind.
What was their problem with comedies?
No clue. They said nope, never mind, no comedy.
Why does it matter?
No clue. Oh yeah, the final battle sparked a small fucking forest fire near a river.
Yeah, because there was an actual fire happening.
So, funnily enough, so fucking firefighters didn't show up. The actual fucking crew fucking fought
Good job, Keaton.
it. It was fucking funny.
Good job, Keaton.
So Keaton said that this was his favorite film of his, about like all of his favorite like fucking films he made. This is his favorite.
That is valid.
I thought the film was
This
really fucking good.
this is my favorite Keaton film. This is a masterpiece of comedy and of filmmaking, especially special effects and stunt work, especially in the silent era. Um, with that in mind, I gave this film a 10.
For me, this film was an easy 8. Again, I don't know why. I don't really get along with a lot of Keaton stuff, despite all the trains.
You know, that's fair. It's not for everybody.
Oh,
Um,
this is a weird one to know. This film was neither a resounding a resounding success or a fucking failure when it first released. It was just okay.
Oh, I had heard it was a massive failure for Keaton.
According to when it first came out, during its initial release, it didn't do horribly. It didn't do really good either. It was just okay. I you know
I heard critics thought it was mid.
I guess compared to all of his other stuff, it didn't do as well. Obviously, I assume all his other stuff did really good, at least from what I hear.
Yeah, he was the third most popular comedian of the silent era, which sounds like a really lame title nowadays, but that'd be like, I don't know. It'd be like being Chris Rock.
Also, because I just have to mention this, the real General Locomotive was built in 1855 in Patterson, New Jersey, and it is now currently located at the Severn Museum of the Civil War in locomotive history in Kennesaw, Georgia.
So what you're telling me is this film could have easily, or sorry, this film could have easily caused that train to not be in a museum, instead be in a ditch.
Yes.
That's crazy.
The original script for this film, it was not called the General originally. It was called the Engine Driver.
I think The General is a better title.
Yes.
I think The Engine Driver sounds really fucking lame. But yeah, I think that's everything about The General. Next up, we have, oh my gosh, just historic film after historic film today. The
Ooh,
Jazz Singer.
I love this film.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to absolutely rip this film apart. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't love this film, but let me. This is a very the one thing I will say about the Jazz Singer. It has one of the most classic plots in any kind of entertainment. The plot of this film is basically that whole like, I want to be an artist, but my dad wants me to be a Jewish rabbi. That's a plot choice.
So I like this film just because of that. Literally, that was one of the reasons why I loved it, because you don't really see many stories about Jews to begin with, outside of their Holocaust this, Holocaust that. Oh, my name life's bad. Was, I mean, in fairness, it was all pretty shit. I mean, even before that. But it's one of the few times where I'm like, wow, this is actually interesting. We actually see things from a Jewish perspective. I love this. That, it's not really just sad. It's just like, I want to live my damn life and not by your dictation. Which I want to see
Yeah,
more of that.
it was kind of interesting because yeah, it's representation, but it's not like misery porn. It's just a story about a guy who just like, again, it's weirdly respectful for 1927. Like it's just like, yeah, this guy's
I'm
Jewish.
sorry, I'm fucked up. I look in my head, it's the entirety of Jewish existence up until the current times was a misery porn.
Okay, I'm just talking about the film. All
their
right.
their lives were literally on fucking veteran difficulty. No, fucking nightmare mode at one point.
Oh my god.
Was I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong, but you're gonna get me on a watch list of one of these days.
No, no. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself so the stream can't hear this. Unmute. Anyway, that's basically how I solved cancer. Anyway.
Yeah. Just want to make it very clear to the audience at home. We said nothing anti-Semitic. We do not believe in such things.
Yeah, I'm German, but I'm not that German.
But outside of that weirdly progressive plot, um, the Jazz Singer has one really super notable feature, which I put in my notes. This is the first feature-length sound film. Kind of. There is one kind of annoying caveat about this film. The whole film isn't in sound. It is what we would refer to as a partial sound film.
Yeah.
And the problem with partial sound films is, like the name would imply, um, only part of the film is in sound. I think it's just the musical segments, pretty much, right?
Yeah. Although there are some moments where it's actually in sound where you just like a speech or just like talking a little bit.
Yeah, in those scenes where he's singing, he'll occasionally break into speech. Um, yeah, I it is interesting to hear the first like proper sound film.
Yeah.
Uh, I'd love to talk about a little fun fact about this film. Do you remember what the first words of the movie are?
Yes. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Which is for the first feature length sound film. Obviously, we talked about the first surviving sound film, the Dixon survival or experimental sound film. Uh, the fact that the first words ever spoken in a feature length film are "You ain't heard nothing yet." I think I watched the video when we were talking about the when I was doing research for the first Oscars. It was by what's the channel? When the pictures got bigger. He said how amazing it is, and I can't help but agree because that is poetic.
It's really fucking funny to me. Um, so fun fact: the film itself was supposed to have no spoken dialogue and only singing. But our boy Al
Yes,
Johnson said, "Nah, cuh," and then Harry Warner said, "You know what? Keep it in. Fuck
that's fair.
it."
Yeah, Jolson had a lot of control over his films. Weirdly enough,
I really liked this film.
that is okay.
For the obvious reason is that no matter how one picks and prods at it, it is the quote unquote technical first. They have full on, not full on, obviously, sound. We can hear people speak. That's amazing. Historically, that is beautiful. We get to hear people from over 100 or so, almost years ago, speak as if they are here with us. That is so amazing.
Yeah, no, yeah, that is crazy to hear the voices of people from what is about to become 100 years ago.
Yes, it is so fucking cool. And historically speaking, that is an easily seven for me. That's an easy, so easy. Mm.
Yeah, oh god, oh I hated this film when I first. I gave it a 3.
Jesus.
It is historically important. I'm not going to deny that. However, it is what I would refer to professionally as too damn much. The plot is really overdramatic, and I could have done without the blackface. I understand that it is essential to the plot, and as far as blackface goes, it is the least terrible because, as when the pictures got bigger mentions in his video, it does actually relate to the plot and is important to the plot.
Something very important to also note here is that this is technically the first film musical.
Oh my god, it is! I didn't think about that.
Yes, this is a very historically important film.
It is incredibly important, but personally, that doesn't mean it's any good. Uh, I thought it was fun though. It was okay. No, it wasn't. I'm gonna be honest. I hated it. Yeah, it was terrible. It was miserable to try and watch today. If you want to see the or hear the first word, not see the first words. What the fuck is wrong with me? Hear the first words ever spoken on film, then 100%. This is a good film to watch just to hear the weird audio and all that. There is a fun fact I'd like to mention about this film relating to the Oscars. This film was considered so advanced, they just blacklisted it from getting an Oscar because the Academy was convinced if they let it compete, it would have won every single category.
That's some bullshit. My boy deserved to get in there.
I'm sure they gave him an honorary award. Next up, this is an easier film to talk about, and for one we'll probably not spend too long on. The Kid Brother, and also I'll probably end up talking about Speedy because it's another film. I think no, it's 28. Never mind.
Oh wait, my boy Lloyd, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the guy used to be my favorite silent comedian until I watched too many Keaton films.
So,
This is about a younger brother basically.
mhm,
It's a comedy about that and how he gets bullied a lot. It was quite entertaining.
it was. Harold Lloyd claimed, and he always claimed up until his own demise, that this is his favorite film he ever made of all time. And he often proudly screened it in very select theaters and at film schools. Because why not?
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Hmm. I can see why. I didn't rate it when I first watched it, but I have seen this film, and it's a good comedy. I think I like Speedy better. I didn't put it on the list, so sadly, Scyther probably didn't get to see it. Speedy is a great film. We'll probably get to it when we make that catch-up episode because it's a very good film. Actually, why do we keep saying that? It's from the next year. Fuck me. Never mind. Uh, yeah, I think it. Yeah, nope. It's next year. We'll get to talk about it. I just was thinking because the Oscars, but we'll get to the weirdness that is the Academy. Uh, what did you give it? Because I didn't rate it.
I gave this film a 6.
It was decent.
Because I.
Ooh, this is gonna be a fun one to talk about. The Lodger, also known as Alfred Hitchcock's first film. I think it's his first film, at least first feature-length film. This is it is shocking how much of this film is so iconic to Hitchcock, despite the fact that it is such an early film and a silent film from him. The plot of this film is that there is a serial killer going around, and mysteriously at the same time, a guy shows up at a law like a hostel, basically, right?
Yeah.
He shows up to a hostel and wants to rent it. He's really creepy, and the plot goes from there. Uh,
So, this is a weird thing to note about old Hitchcock here. So, this is his first ever commercial success, but not his first ever film, obviously.
oh, my apologies.
All good. So, his first film is actually never finished. It
Oh,
was called Number 13, which it was made in 1922. And after that, it would
mm,
be Always Tell Your Wife, not 1923, and then he would direct a movie called The Pleasure Garden in 1925, and followed up by The Mountain Eagle in 26. In 27, we would have The Lodger.
okay. It's the first one I've seen at least, so that makes sense.
Yeah, he would start. He would be basically a very rough start, but he would get there eventually.
Yeah, I mean, very few directors hit the ground landing like an Orson Welles type. Uh, I quite liked this film. I thought it was really suspenseful and something when I first started watching Hitchcock's films, I didn't really have a good grasp of old film. So I actually hated Hitchcock. I thought his films were slow and boring compared to other older films, which was mostly monster movies, which I had watched. Uh, but now that I've seen a bunch of terrible, slow movies from the 30s, Hitchcock is my singular savior. He makes the best movies during the 30s, and this film is just a showcase of what's to come.
The story,
I thought it was good. Yeah, you're
the
saying, sir?
story was so good, and the landlady was such goon material.
Oh my God, Scyther!
She was goon material.
You did not just say that.
She was goon worthy.
Wait, let me see. I'm gonna be real. I kind of got more of a thing going on for the lodger himself, but that's just me.
You know what's crazy? She was in fucking Les Miserables, whatever the shit was called.
Oh shit!
Yeah, she was in that. Yeah, she was goon worthy, and I look forward to seeing many more of her things she was in.
Also, I'm just gonna throw this question out there. Hottest actor slash actress of 1927. One, two, three, go.
June Trip.
Whoever played Napoleon. What was? I need to look up the guy who played Napoleon because that. There's a reason whenever I talk about this film to like my friends or whatever, which is often because it's kind of a weird film and it's just funny to talk about. I refer to it as the Pretty Boy Napoleon film. There it is, Albert, French name I can't say. Fair enough. Oh my god, it does look like Napoleon. Yeah, back to the Lodger though. This is also one of the first proper thriller movies, which makes sense for Hitchcock since that was like his thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Just hear about June Tripp's whole life is just like, God damn. Her life was wacky. Like, oh yeah, please, let me divorce you. Meanwhile, Britain's like, I don't think I can let you divorce your husband. Meanwhile, Reno's like, nah, I think she can.
Oh yeah, I forgot there used to be this weird thing. There's a lot of movies about it for some reason. About how like if you wanted a divorce, you went to Reno because they would just grant it.
Yep. It was such a weird thing.
Could you imagine having to travel to get a divorce?
Honestly,
Actually, could you imagine living in a time where they're just like, "No, you can't get a divorce. I said so."
at that damn point, I would just kill the bitch.
Man, you're really speed running that Twitch ban today.
Man, I'm just saying, you know what? I was the impassioned speech. Bitches back then, I'm just saying, they knew what was good. They did their
Come
job
on, no, no,
well.
no, no, no! You're not getting away with that one.
They did their job. They cooked, they cleaned.
You better.
Okay.
I'm holding that. I'm holding that toy gun. Say psych right now.
Psych. No, not psych. I'm being serious. They did their job. They did it right. Bitches now should learn to let. No, I'm kidding. Partially kidding. Partially
You got
kidding.
you got to keep them. You got to keep them guessing.
You gotta keep them guessing. Otherwise, they'll think you're a misogynist or some shit. Actually, I'm a proud feminist. I'm actually a card carrier of that.
Wait, do you actually have a card?
I do.
Why didn't I know this about you? I've known you 8 years.
I went to my college one day, went to an open seminar, and I'm like, hey, yo, can I have a card? And they gave me one. And now I donate some money here and there.
You know what? Respect points. The Lodger. Man, we really went off topic for this one.
I hear that wiki to update my. He's the card carrying feminist.
No, we're gonna keep saying it until it happens. I gave this film an 8. I thought it was really good.
Just because of that lady being goon material, easy 9.
I hate how easy you are to appeal to some. I can't wait till we get to the exploitation film era, and you're just like, yes, this film has titties. Instant 10.
Goon worry.
Oh my god. Let's see. What do we got?
On a
Oh, a
serious,
film I. Good.
so, on a serious note, it's a 7.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. The Unknown. This film was bad.
I didn't care for it. Keep it real.
Okay. This is a film about a freak show. Already off to an amazing start, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's freaks, I'm not going to enjoy a film about this.
So, I have a whole thing about freak shows, and I actually believe they are one of the worst things to ever hit the human species as a whole. By the way, I think they're purely exploitative of a people in their condition, and it's more or less as a laugh track. Ah, they're freaky. It is one of the most insensitive things I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, and the fact they existed, period, and they still exist now, it just shows you how fucking backwards the species we are. Jesus fuck.
Yeah, you could make arguments, but also at the same time, I'm not. I'm not going to make them because I know for a fact. Yeah, that whole concept is terrible.
I find any movies about it, I don't care how progressive they're trying to be, I still find it exploitative, no matter the message.
That is true. That is fair. That is a fair point to make. This one though, I don't. Does it actually feature any real life like people who are or how do I say this? People with deformities. There we go.
I don't believe
That's the
so.
polite way. Okay, so that's a little better because it doesn't actually feature anyone like that. Um,
What we will see eventually, I can't. Hold on. He will pop up. He will pop up very soon. There's a man named Johnny Eck. He is very important to my city because he was born here. Johnny Eck was the famous Half Man. He would. Oh yeah.
oh,
He appears in 1932 of a movie called Freaks.
which we are going to cover.
Yeah, he is a very sad case. He was as you might be able to tell, a half man.
Which is a really fucked up way to refer to him. He's just a dude who's missing his legs.
Yeah, it was something that really broke my heart. You'll hear a lot of these people that are freakish looking. For example, Daisy Earl is Schwitzy, who looked I'm gonna say it. They looked horrendous. They looked. It was very sad.
Strange. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so sad. And so by looking at how he dressed, yes, it's a he. You would assume it's a girl. No, it's that he played a lot of feminine roles.
Oh, that's oof. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. Like, who I should move from. Well, let's talk about fake disabled people, which is kind of what this film is about. It's about a guy who claims to have no arms, but he does have arms. He's just really good at contortion,
Yeah.
which uh okay. That it just feels like a weird plot to begin with. And he's trying to marry this other girl. What is her thing?
I can't remember, man. This film was such a. Ugh.
It was a nothing movie for sure.
Oh
I'm trying to
wait.
remember. What was her
Um,
thing?
Paul Desmook was actually born armless, so there is a person deformed here.
Oh,
Yeah.
but the guy who plays him in the movie.
Yeah. This is a film that I don't really want to touch on too much. I'll be real.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get through it really fast.
Yeah,
It
shit.
and he does have arms. He's pretending to not have arms, which is a strange thing to pretend, but okay, whatever.
Wait, what the fuck? This film's original name was gonna be Armless Alonzo.
I think there's a good reason why they changed it. Uh, and in order to actually appear armless to this woman, he actually gets his arms surgically removed,
Jesus Christ.
and then realizes she didn't actually care either way whether or not he was armless.
That was silly.
Yeah, it's a very Romeo and Juliet thing, but worse. This I originally gave it a 7, but the more I think about it, my very brief rewatch of this film, this is a 5. This was bad. This was really in poor taste, let's say. It was also kind of just boring.
Um, this is a film that this will be a very ultra rare thing. I will. You won't probably see me do this ever again. This film gets a 0.2.
So you gave it the absolute barest rating.
I absolutely hate this film. It purely based on the whole story was just and the people. You'll see me start rating films like this one very negatively quite quickly.
Oh, you're gonna hate Gunga Din. Um, exploitation. Let's see. I think we only have a few more films left. The next one we won't be able to talk about much. The Way of All Flesh. It's a lost film. It stars Emil Yannings. I don't really know much about the plot. All I know is that I think Emil Yannings received a Oscar nod for it, in addition to the other films that he did this year. And that's kind of all this was. Joy. Here's one. Underworld. One of the proto gangster films.
Also, this is a quick little thing I had to mention because it's so wild. Thinking about it's back to that lady I was mentioning about briefly. It was
Yeah.
let me type in her name again. It was Daisy Erlinson, who was a part of the Doll family. Yes, you heard that right. They were all very tiny people, and the Doll part was that was unrelated. That was their last name. Um,
Oh,
they were born and raised in the Kingdom of Saxony, and they moved to Sarasota, Florida later. That's a weird thing to
that
do
is
now.
a wild path.
It's so weird. Oh
I love.
yeah, they're known to play. They're known for playing as the Munchkins on the Wizard of Oz.
I don't want to think about this subject anymore because it makes me sad. Uh,
Yeah.
Underworld. This is a crime movie, and that's kind of it. I think. No, I'm thinking of the Racket. Underworld was very forgettable because I keep getting it mixed up with the Racket, which came out next year.
Underworld was it was good. I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, it was a to me it was a generic crime plot. That's just me.
Oh, 100%. It was as like milk toast crime plot as you can get. It was
Oh,
like,
sorry. There's also a whole film series called Underworld. Yes, same
oh,
name, different plot line, I believe.
I guess it is a pretty what's the word, like, generic title.
Yeah, so it came out in 2003, and it was recent. Not it's not a movie. It was a comic called Blood Wars in 2017.
That's cringe.
You can say it's
Anyways,
this film series, but it's kind of dead. But I mean, the last appearance was back in like 2011 for the actual films or whatever.
that's something. What did you think of Underworld? I don't even remember the plot that much. I just remember it was a crime movie with guns and stuff.
I generally thought it was okay. I mean, there were better things even before this film, which is sad to say.
Even for crime films, I think. So yeah, I gave it a 6.
Funnily enough, this is a quick little fun fact. The film was projected to be a flop by Paramount. It was shelved until it was eventually released in only one theater in New York. But screenwriter Ben Hirsch demanded his name be taken off the credits. As a result of a strong word of mouth, the movie would end up becoming a enormous hit. It would win Hitch the first of his 2 Academy Awards. So while we didn't like it, it ended up becoming a fucking major success.
I suppose it might just be the reality of the time. I'm sure back then this was very innovative and very new. To us, it's just a generic kind of crappy crime film.
You know it's fucked up. It's considered the
Hmm.
first ever damn noir film. it,
This is not a noir film.
it is said here it is considered to be the very first film noir feature film.
Get out of here.
Not kidding.
I know what you're saying is probably correct, but like, come on.
It's fucking funny. I really like the M noirs. It's just this was just boring. If it was in first, you know what? Fuck it. Makes sense to me. That's why it's so fucking boring.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
This is a random detour. It was take it out of the movies real fast. Fun fact: yesterday, Funko pulled the itch.io website down.
oh, I saw that. You know what's messed up? Both of my games are on itch.
It was so fucking stupid, and I love it.
It really do be like that sometimes.
Also unrelated. El Salvador found $3 trillion in unmined gold. That's what I mentioned that part too.
Oh, okay then. All right. You know
It's
what? Let's talk about
just
wings.
wait till a movie gets made out of that. I bet it's gonna happen. Be the heist or some shit.
Anyways, wings.
Wings. Wait, is
This
that
is
bad bitches?
this is as no as we're going to talk about when we get to the actual Oscars. This is the first kind of sort of Best Picture winner. We'll get there. It's kind of a bitch to talk about. Uh, this is
Oh,
a World War One movie about pilots, and uh, this is a weird movie. This is very Hollywood. Is that a good way to describe it?
yes. Fun fact. Well, two of them, in fact. This film was deemed lost until out of nowhere some dude found it in a in a in a Frankway film archive. He's like, oh wait, shit, it was in here this entire time. We've been
It
archived
really
it. We
do
spent
be like
there.
that.
Also, this is the first film that was that was done with the actors actually flying in the air.
Oh,
Yes. Oh yeah, the U.S. military actually cooperated heavily in the making of this film. Thousands of soldiers and millions of dollars worth of equipment and virtually all the pursuit planes were used by the army at the time during the entire film's making. So one could consider this being one of the most expensive film for a long time if you consider the military budget into this as well.
yes. Another funny thing about this film, at least as far as I'm aware, this film had a ridiculous filming. The story of how this film was made is insanity. Okay, so firstly, let me hit you with some really quick fun facts about this film. One, this film is the first mainstream feature film to feature actual on-screen nudity.
Titties.
Yes, Clara Bow as well. So you know what? They had taste. The producers had taste, even if it probably wasn't made under the best ethical conditions, and I can acknowledge that. But either way,
You
there are some
know,
other weird things. For instance, the filming of this was not 1 month, which was pretty normal for films at this time. This film was made over the course of 8 or 9 months. I can't remember which one exactly it was. That is insanity. That is ridiculous. That is unnecessary. They were in there so long. The hotel that they were staying at had a instance where every single female employee became pregnant
yeah.
because of the amount of young men that were staying in this place.
I just want to toss that out there to you Oz and the DM. I'm like, wait a second, these fuckers were not checking ages back then. That's good. That's good. But
Yeah.
there might be a time where we're like, wait a second.
Oh, don't worry. I will always check that. Don't worry. Ah.
I hear some fun facts.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the only time film to win the Oscar for Best Picture and to win an Academy Award for engineering effects.
Yes.
Oh, and the blood in the film was all chocolate and chocolate syrup.
The Hitchcock special. Hitchcock loved doing that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
because Clara Bow's a whore. She openly stated that she hated the military uniform as it did not show her fucking figure.
Clarabelle also started an affair with the main actor during the filming of this.
She reportedly kept fighting with costumers to wear a tight belt, showing off her curves, and lordy did she can fight for
She did get one eventually.
it.
Uh,
Oh, very important note. There's a scene on an aerial raid on the German troops train that was filmed in this, but it was never used. It would end up being used in the movie The Legion of the Condemned in 1928. So that aerial raid is not even for that film. It wasn't even filmed for it. It was just in this fucking film.
that is wild, actually. I never thought about that. That is. Oh my god. Um, yeah. This film as like a project is I know I've said it before. I don't know how to describe it other than who damn much. This film is trying really hard to be appealing, and it kind of just doesn't work for me. I thought it was okay, but it definitely wasn't best picture worthy, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, this has hit me. Fucking Clara Bow and I share the same birthday.
that is
Clearly, I'm a
that is
reincarnation.
it would explain your behavior.
Ugh. She has no titties. I'm upset.
Of course, that's what you were thinking about.
If that was my, if I'm her damn reincarnation, I'd be upset. I'd kill myself. That's just me though. Of course, actually, Shui should mention that we do have a suicide hotline number right here in case you guys need it. Hold on.
Scyther's trying to backpedal on
just
that
to
one.
just to let you all know, everybody, if you guys need help, and if you guys need to talk to anybody, I'm not the one to talk to. These guys are. Stick it right in there. Put it right there.
Really saving yourself there.
There we go. 988 is here to help. Just don't call me. I won't help you. I'd be more inclined to reroute you to their number, not say something fucked up. Promise.
Yeah.
Uh.
Back to the film. Uh, what did you think of Wings? Since I've been talking about it quite a bit.
I thought it was an intriguing film, but I did feel like it dragged on. I'm gonna be wrong. I don't care for world like war type movies. You would think I would actually love them, but no, I don't particularly care for them.
That's fair. I think they're not for everybody. Certainly. Personally, I do think the film. I agree that the film dragged on way too long, especially in the middle. The middle section was really rough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the scene where the main guy gets drunk. I felt was just just let it end. I think the film was a little too sweet, and I don't mean sweet. Like it was just, it was too Hollywood. I shouldn't say sweet. It was too predictable.
This is a weird thing to mention because it's kind of like it's not related to the film. It's related to Clara Bow herself. Did you know that Taylor Swift made a whole song about her and basically detailing like Clara Bow's struggles, which is I'm like for starters, I hate Taylor Swift, but it's kind of fucking cool. It's a weird callback to the original It Girl.
Yeah. To be fair, though, also the whole song is about comparing herself to Clara Bow.
Yeah, but she still details some of Clara Bow's struggles, which is cool.
Yeah. Uh. Yeah. No, it was an okay film.
Yeah,
I gave it a 6.
that is fair. Honestly, I'll give it the same one. This is one of those films where I'm not really hate on it too much. It was alright.
It was certainly all right. But now that we've covered all the films of 1927, at least all the films that we're going to be talking about, what did you think? What did you think of the films of 1927?
Films of 1927. Lordy, lordy. There's a lot of fucking good fucking films here. Whole lot of
Yeah.
good ass films.
Do you agree that at least so far, this is one of the best films ever made, or
Yes.
best years ever made? Sorry,
Yes, this is one of the best
in film.
years ever. Just ever thus fucking far. In fairness, it's past competition. Not it wasn't really competition to begin with.
There were some good films up
There were
until
some
this
good
point.
films, but not to the amount of popular in 1927.
No, no, I think this was a golden year, and 1928 will have some good stuff, but we're about to see in the next coming episodes, we are going to see one of the worst years for film. And I hope you're ready for that.
One thing I do want to touch upon because it'll be very important because we'll see it with gaming way later. There,
Mm.
every single medium or media has a point where it could have been the death blow for the entire industry. Gaming saw it with ET. um, what do you think almost did it in for movies?
Honestly, the early sound era is pain. Uh, it alienated a lot of people because Hollywood was moving faster than theaters could physically adapt to the new changes. And it was kind of becoming a problem. I think if film was ever close to going extinct, that was the point. Otherwise, I guess you could say early on in the 1910s, there was a few strings of failures. Wars could have ended the film industry for a while. Though I think in most cases, because of how film works, were always going to keep making movies because people love film and people love movies.
One thing I do believe is even if film died everywhere else, which I doubt, it would have survived in America purely because of one thing. Uncle Sam loved propaganda, and movies are great for propaganda. Disney benefited greatly from the propaganda.
Clearly, the Soviets did too.
Yes, they did. That's something you'll learn, kids. Propaganda will make you money, so fall in line with Uncle Sam. Trust me.
I don't think I trust you.
Hey, I'm being paid. I'm being sponsored by Uncle Sam.
No, you're not.
Hey, I got paid
We don't have
Twinkies.
sponsors.
I have Twinkies. That count?
Sure.
I'm not
I
sure.
thought, yeah, 1927 was a great year for film, and I think we should get to the thing I've been looking forward to most. We are kind of going to be talking about the Oscars, but more importantly, we're going to be talking about the Aussies and the Scythes, the retroactive
Oh,
award show.
yes.
We're going to be going over each category, and we are probably mostly going to be talking about how the Oscars absolutely biffed it. So, are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
I think we'll end. I'm on the official Oscars.org website, and I'm going to go by category. I'm going to tell you who won, or I'm going to give you the nominees. Do you know who won it for every award?
I feel like, and I don't know why, but it's gonna hit me. It's gonna hit me in my damn gut. It was who the fuck was it? It was one fucking five fucking awards. So we were,
Yeah.
at least we were like nominated for it.
Yeah. Um, but we're going to go over them for the audience. We've already kind of revealed a couple of them, but let's first talk about actor. Our nominees are Richard Barthelmess for The
Okay.
Patent Leather Kid. We did not watch this film, it was garbage. Just take it from me. I don't usually ask for these things, but it was garbage. We only have one other nominee, Emil Yannings. And I think actually this is a great time to talk about the weirdness that was the first ceremony. Did you know? Actually, I'm gonna ask you in the form of a question. How long do you think the first ceremony was?
Let's see. 5 hours.
15 minutes.
Ah.
The whole first award ceremony was 15 minutes, was the only Oscars to not be broadcast on anything, and the winners were announced 3 months ahead of time.
That's just fucking. That's fucking funny.
The award ceremony was mostly to hand out the awards, and was also kind of a banquet where Mr. Mayer, the guy who founded the Academy, mostly just wanted to talk about how awesome he is and how everyone should be thankful for even having a job in the film industry. Okay. Uh, this was kind of his vanity project and didn't serve much other purpose than that. And I am shocked with how terrible this first ceremony went. How much of an how popular the Oscars are because this was absolutely a shit show. Do you want to know how much of a shit show this was, Scyther?
Did somebody get
There
sued?
was originally four candidates for Best Actor.
Okay.
One of them was Charlie Chaplin
Makes
for The
sense.
Circus. The reason that Chaplin did not receive his nomination is because he was nominated in like five, seven, or like seven categories, and he would have taken home four of them easily. So they just gave him an honorary award instead.
That's stupid. At least give him fucking one of them.
I know. But the other thing is that the Best Actor award nearly went to a dog. I wish I was joking. So, here's the story. During the first Oscar ceremony, when the five judges, yes, there were only five of them, were voting, they voted Tintin the dog to be the best actor. He was the dog in Wings, by the way. Which, honestly, valid. That's adorable. I love that. Mr. Mayor thought this was absolutely outrageous and would have been a terrible start to his award ceremony. And I can see what he was talking about. So he just said no. He just vetoed it. He just said, no, fuck you, we're not doing this. And they gave it to Emil Jannings, who has a funnier story behind his Oscar. He has two fun facts about his Oscar. The first one, he is the first man to receive it, because Jannings was still in Germany when he received his Oscar, and he just asked the Academy if he could have it mailed to him, and the Academy went, sure, why not? So they mailed it to him, and he received it before anyone else did. So he's the first man to receive an Oscar. Secondly, as we mentioned before, Jannings stayed in Germany during the fascist period. When World War II was ending, and as everyone was storming Berlin, I am not joking, this is confirmed. Emil Jannings ran out of a ruin, holding his Oscar for dear life, screaming, don't shoot, don't shoot, I have won an Oscar.
That's fucking like me. Fucking the fucking Russians invade America. I'm bitching out of my house. I'm like, don't shoot. I fucking have a fucking Hot Topic gift card.
like, like, I know. And you know what's the funny part? I don't know how that story ends, and I don't know how Emil Jannings died. So it's very possible that that story ended with an American soldier going, "What? Who's this? Who is this Emil Jannings guy?" Because remember, this is the '40s. It's like, didn't my parents watch that guy? Dang. Or no, it would have been grandparents. My grandparents watched that guy. What? Um, so that's all the things that lead up to Emil Jannings receiving this Oscar. Uh, and he received it for a couple of films, The Way of All Flesh, because in this ceremony, they nominated actors for any part they played if it culminated in a Best Actor nomination. So they didn't receive it for specific films; they just received it for their best work of that year. And Emil Jannings received it for The Last Command. Now, I'm going to pose the question to you: who do you think should have won? It doesn't have to be a nominee. You can pick anyone from this year.
Now, I have to go back to the lady. Yes, I'm going to say a woman should have won because I'm
How
progressive.
progressive.
No, I fucking thought she did a really damn good ass job. She played so I can't remember what it was, but she was in a black outfit. It was a woman, and she was very, very popular. I think she was in the vampire movie, Dare Vampire or whatever. Let me see.
Oh, was that 1927?
No, unfortunately not. Of course, I have to be actor from this time. But if I had to choose anybody, it'd be Chaplin off the bat, obviously. Uh,
That's fair. Chaplin, if you watch The Circus, I don't think I put it on the list because it's kind of a meh Chaplin film.
um,
Uh, Chaplin has done great work, and I think, yeah, he definitely should have received it.
so outside of Chaplin, obviously, of course, we could with the It Girl, Clara Bow, or a more better option is Bridget Helm in Metropolis.
Oh, easily. I think, obviously, because it was a foreign film, the Oscars was not too keen on having do anything because this was Hollywood celebrating itself. Though I do agree with you. I think Clara Bow should have at least received a nomination because she is one of the few things I actually remember from Wings, other than the over dramatic end scenes.
It's kind of weird to me with people like Clara Bow. She's clearly just there because and she's a sex symbol. That's literally it. I mean, but besides that, she was still a good actor. It's the matter of she knows her purpose, but she didn't want that damn purpose, and she made it fucking clear many times.
Oh yeah, there's a quote from the filming of Wings where she said, "This is a man's movie, and I'm just the whipped cream on top," which is like, goddamn. Um,
Shit, you in a damn fucking army movie? Fuck you looking thought this was?
yeah. So personally, I think I definitely. Oh, who would I give Best Actor to? I think I would have given it to the guy who played Napoleon.
It's a good choice.
I think he should have at least gotten a nomination. Uh, oh wait, well yeah, we're talking about Best Actor. We're gonna get to Best Actress.
Yeah, Chaplin easily though.
Yeah. So for Best Actress, our nominees are Louis Dresser for A Ship Comes In, Gloria Swanson, I'm sure you've heard that name, for Sadie Thompson,
Yeah.
and Janet Gaynor, most likely for Sunrise, though she also got nominated for Seventh Heaven and Street Angel. Street Angel was garbage.
I'm
Uh,
sorry.
Nickel Victory. Uh,
He had a cameo. He's like, it's that way. He walked away after that.
hey, that's, you know what? I'm sure someone's gotten Best Actor for less. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm pretty sure. Um, sorry, I'm pretty sure Louis Dresser is only in 30% of her movies, so fair enough. Who do you think was the best actress of 1930 or 1927? Sorry, you said it would have been that lady in Metropolis.
Yes, Bridget Helm. If you know, if not her, then Clara Bow, because she honestly deserved it. And, like, yeah, I'll hate on her because she's just a walking sex symbol, and I hate it girls, but you know she was an it girl of the 1920s, so fuck it.
She's also been dead for 50 years, so I don't think
Yeah,
getting upset about it's going to do as
she
much.
unfortunately died when she was 60 years old from a heart attack.
She wasn't too far off from the normal age of death, so I'm not going to cry too hard about it. Personally, you know what? I think Janet Gaynor deserved it. Janet Gaynor did a great job in Sunrise, so I'm not going to contest that one. This one's going to be fun because a lot of the movies that the winner we have not seen, and I think one of them's a lost movie. Art direction. Um, I think we're both going to agree on this. Obviously, obviously, it should have been Metropolis.
Oh, easily. No challenge at all.
No, there's no argument. It was Metropolis. Metropolis had the best art direction. I would say arguably best art direction of the decade. There's no countering that. It just wins.
It is very
Uh,
hard to challenge it.
Cinematography. Our nominees are The Devil Dancer, which I think is lost, The Magic Flame, which is also lost, Sadie Thompson, which is not, and then Carl Struss and Charles Rusher for Sunrise.
Ooh, I thought Charles Rush was good.
You thought Sunrise had good cinematography?
I did.
I agree. You know what? I think I'm not going to contest that one. That was good. Directing comedy picture. Now here's the problem. Again, Chaplin is absent.
Which is bullshit. Actually, bullshit in this one case.
Yeah, our nominees are Two Arabian Nights, which I will just tell you right now was absolute racist garbage, and Speedy, which is a Harold Lloyd film. I think if it had to go to anyone but Chaplin, give it to Harold Lloyd. I don't know why the fuck they gave it to Two Arabian Nights. It was terrible. It wasn't even funny, and the direction was god awful. If we had to get our cherry pick, obviously we're giving it to Chaplin because he is a comedy legend.
This is one of the few times where I think Chaplin could have sweet this entire damn thing. I would not be mad about it. It's actually bullshit. He did not get anything. It's actually dumb.
Well, isn't that going to be the entirety of the Oscars as we go through them?
Yeah, from you know what? This is my bet. The fucking judges got been bribed it like fucking crazy to not include him because otherwise nobody else would get shit. That's literally my fucking guess here.
I also think, remember, Chaplin's a part of United Artists, which is very much like the anti-movie studio.
Yeah, but still,
And who
man.
founded the Academy? The movie man himself, Mr. Mayer of MGM fame.
Fuck.
Oh no, don't die on me. Oh no, don't die.
I'm not dead. If my chair
Okay.
broke, my name would fucking fall. You remember that story, guys? When I said, "Oh yeah, witness me." My chair did that again.
Did you stand on it again?
Yes. So,
This is what you get.
I'll let you take it from here while I fucking fix my chair.
Yes. The next category we have is dramatic picture, and we finally have more than one nominee who is not winning. This next film, one of these films, we'll be talking about next episode because
We,
I might have mentioned it on stream, but For some reason, the Oscars decided instead of covering individual years, they're covering a 12-month period that starts in the middle of each year. So this is actually the Oscars for the later half of 1927 and the first half of 1928. Luckily, they stopped doing that in I think 1934 is when we stopped doing that. Luckily,
Okay,
but
I'm alive.
good job. For dramatic picture, our nominees are Seventh Heaven, Sorrel and Son, which I think is either I think it's Lost, or The Crowd. Now, if I were to pick from these nominees, I would say The Crowd had was probably the best for directing. Seventh Heaven does not deserve jack and or shit for directing. It was a wooden movie.
You really don't like that film, do you?
No, I thought it was really nothing. I am so sorry. Who do you think had the best non-comedy direction? I already feel like I know the answer.
Honestly, that one Soviet film was pretty banging.
I thought you were gonna say Metropolis, but
I
honestly,
mean, Metropolis. I mean, yeah, obviously, but still, from a non-comedy point of view, this is purely story, and it's very much fucking bragging. It was still good storytelling, nonetheless.
I think the direction for October was really good, especially considering how many extras they had. This one's weird. So this is the effects category, but it was called engineering effects. Again, Chaplin got fucked.
Of course he did.
Uh, and we have a little bit of a problem. They nominated individuals, not movies.
Oh, it's one of those situations.
Yeah. So I look at the official website, right?
Yeah.
They don't actually list two of the engineers like what films they made, which were probably that they probably got nominated before. I will say, there's a man here named Nugent Slaughter, which
That's
sounds like
just
a GI
hard.
Joe character.
That just sounds hard as fuck.
The award went to Wings, which honestly,
Fair.
yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with that. I think Wings deserved that. That movie had some crazy engineering effects. Um, okay, okay, here we go. So we're gonna get into some interesting things. Next up is one of the two Best Picture categories. Outstanding Picture. The next one is Most Creative Picture, but right now we're just talking about the Outstanding Picture, which was both categories were considered equal when they were made, but the Academy has since said that Outstanding Picture is actually Best Picture. Our nominees are The Racket, which we couldn't watch because that's next year, Seventh Heaven, What the Fuck, and Wings. Wings, as we mentioned, won the award. Personally, why is Seventh Heaven here? I okay. Even if we didn't keep gushing over Napoleon Metropolis in October, there's so many other films you could have nominated for Best Picture, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Right. Uh, why isn't Sunrise here? Why is it in the other category? Why isn't The General here? That was a really good film. I know it technically came out, and it probably was also not here because it came out in the first part of 1927, which again is just dumb. Um, Hell, I'd even give The Lodger a nod.
Hmm.
At least give The Jazz Singer a nod. Come on.
I just think this is one of those things. I do think Seventh Heaven, deserves this one. This is my opinion.
It deserves a nod. How do you think about Wings winning Outstanding Picture?
I mean, I guess I can see why. I guess.
Mhm.
But of course, I believe Metropolis deserves it more, but eh.
That's fair. I would have given it either to Metropolis or Napoleon. Here we go. And here's some weird ones. There was a special award given to The Circus by Charlie Chaplin because he would have swooped the awards, and The Jazz Singer for a similar reason. They got special awards. Yay! Um, and here's the other Best Picture category: Unique and Artistic Picture. Uh, Our nominees are Chang, The Crowd, and Sunrise.
Clearly, Sunrise.
Personally, I think Sunrise deserves the win, which is what it received. What do you think, Scyther?
Sunrise.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Um, the next up are some writing awards. They're pretty much what you would expect for adaptation. Seventh Heaven. I haven't read the original short story, so I have no clue if it's any good. Original story, Underworld. Sure. The other nominee was The Last Command, and I probably would have preferred it go there, but I'm not upset about it. Title writing is a award that only exists at this first Oscars. Do you know what title writing refers to?
Whether when David's title card or some shit.
Yes, it refers to the title cards.
So I'm hearing is if enough films bring it back, we might see it again one more time.
Perhaps. Also, we have that same problem where they nominate individuals instead of films. So the only film that we have the nominee for is The Private Life of Helen of Troy, which is a confirmed lost movie. I know that one's lost.
Sad.
Yeah, so we don't actually know what the best title cards were. I'd say the best title cards probably go to Sunrise.
Well, since it's lost, I can't really give it to that. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, Sunrise had a lot of really fun title cards, mostly because the director hated them. And that's every award at the first Oscars. What did you think of the actual winners?
I feel like there's a lot of bullshit going on.
Yeah. Another funny story about that Unique and Artistic Picture Award. Chang is a documentary and is the only documentary to ever receive a Best Picture nod. Another funny thing, you know how I said that Sunrise won Best Picture? Or
Yeah.
won Most Unique and Artistic? It actually didn't.
Oh.
Originally, the judges voted for The Crowd to win the award.
Oh.
But Mayer, partially because he didn't like what the film was about. Secondly, it was made by his studio, MGM. So he thought that if he let it win, people would assume he rigged the vote.
Which
So what is the next logical thing you do, Scyther? You
well,
rigged the vote.
Yeah.
To make it look like you didn't. He held up the judges until 5 in the morning and forced them to change their vote.
You see, I'm feeling petty. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. Still not getting your shit, bro.
That is insanity.
So I'm hearing is people didn't like him.
He was a dickhead. Mayer is awful. He would do this thing where he would take film production crews and force them to make his beach house.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's a real thing. And did you know that's the reason the Academy exists? They were on the verge of creating a strike, so he made the Academy to appease them. Could you imagine? You know how people complain about, like, I want a higher wage and their boss throws a pizza party?
Yeah.
This is like the most elaborate version of that. I don't want to work on your beach house. Best I can do is to throw an elaborate award ceremony.
I'm be real, man. If I was born back then, I was an actor, I'd shoot this fucker. Shoot him. And I guarantee
I think that's the one thing we said today that won't get us banned.
I guarantee you, every motherfucker would clap for me. They would clap. They would cheer. They would throw a whole damn parade. Shit, I bet they could bail me out too.
Yeah, Maker just sounds like the biggest dickhead. You know what he sounds like? You know that one guy that we all know, that like really cares about his image, like really cares about it to the point where it ruins his image.
Yeah.
Like that guy who obsesses about how people think about him. That sounds like Mayer.
Literally.
Yeah, Mayer sounds terrible, but we have gotten through our first award ceremony, and they are only going to get weirder as the time goes on. I think that wraps up film.
Yeah.
Now we will talk about the kind of short, kind of sweet. We listened to some music from 1927, and ooh, it was good.
Very good.
We got Stardust. We got My Blue Heaven, Singing the Blues. Me and My Shadow. That was pretty good. In a Mist, Someone to Watch Over Me. I think that was the first recording of Someone to Watch Over Me. I love that song, by the way. I'll have to find the recording. I'll say in the one of the episodes when we talk about another version of this song. Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Dark. Blind Willie Johnson. That song is depressing. Ain't She Sweet? And yeah, that was pretty much what we listened to. I picked out some of the top songs from 1927. Um, what did you think of the music from this year?
Very fucking good. My favorite, I can't remember if it was on the list or not, was Blue Skies.
I don't think it was on the list, but I have heard it, and it is very good. I think I'm not like there's no transitional like oh yeah, music's getting better. Like music is banging in 1927. Jazz is like fully in its swing. No pun intended. uh, we are fully in the time where musicians are hitting that stride. We're about to get even more jazz, even more wonderful music. Instrumental jazz, I think, where is shining the most. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, so I actually have one complaint about the 1927 music.
Yeah.
I believe that the music from this time was. How do I say this? It's there's a lot of innovating going on, but it didn't really shine too heavily to me, very
Hmm.
least.
I can understand that. I certainly am not going to contest that.
There's just so many people popping out of nowhere, and there was this like so much new shit, and it's like wow, like I'm not overwhelmed. This feels like geez, huh? I don't know how to feel
A
about
lot's
this.
happening all at once.
Yeah,
I definitely get that. Um, yeah, I think that's just a good way to summarize the music. A lot's happening. A lot of good is happening.
we do have
So,
for games.
mhm.
Once we get into this, we have
Yes, let's
one
start with that.
confirmed board game for the year of 1927.
Oh,
It is Fang Dun Hat, or better known as for us English speakers, Cop It.
ah,
It's
oh,
a
I think I've
German
heard of
game.
that.
Here, I'll send you the link.
I was hoping you weren't going to say something horrifically racist, so I'm glad.
It's a very simplistic game.
Ah, okay. What kind of game is it?
So, let's see here. So this game, just to give you an idea here, it is based off the Spears games.
Oh,
Yes. So let me go over here. It is a party game based upon luck. You would basically
as
roll your
most party
die,
games are.
pretty much. Each player has four conicals, or hat shaped. These playing
Hmm.
pieces, all the same color, would start off on their home area or their base. The objective is to how do I say this? Move out of your base and capture or cop your opponent's pieces by landing on top of them. Carry them back to your base and imprison them there.
Hmm.
So while this is nothing revolutionary, a lot of damn games, fucking party games, like on act like fucking video games, actually take the fucking concept and fucking run with it.
Huh.
Most
That's really
famously,
cool.
yeah, most famously, off the top of my head, has been Fat Princess.
Is that a real game?
Yes,
Huh.
it was a game made in 2009. It was actually famously almost canceled. Yes, it was one of the first games to be canceled because it's making a woman look fat, and you're hurting her body image. Meanwhile, the actual art director, most of the staff, all women.
I do love that. That is priceless. Uh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's something so cool. I love that type of shit. Um, the Coppet again, it's a kind of a boring one to me, but it's still around today. Both the original and the Coppet version. So the Fangden Hunt and Coppet are both still around today, which is weird.
That's cool.
Yep. Fangden Hut is Well, and that's about to be over 100 years old very shortly.
Hell yeah. With that though, I think we've covered everything. I think
Yep,
we've got pretty in depth, and I was worried this was going to be a shorter episode, but no,
it's one of the
we
longer
were able
ones.
to. Yeah, no, we there's a lot to talk about, and that's good.
Yep.
Let's see.
This is something I actually
Mhm.
want to talk about now because we still have a bit of time, obviously. There
Yeah.
it won't be. I don't know when we're gonna be doing it, but we're probably making a fucking video, and so won't be a stream. That way, he catches up to the the media of magazines eventually.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about magazines at some point. It's just the research.
Yeah, fortunately, the gaming section of these streams are always very short. There's not much really to talk about, which is why I actually wanted to include magazines.
Fair. Yeah, we'll definitely catch up on that, and I feel as if I hate to say it, you might have to lead the charge on that one because I don't even know where to start on magazine
Don't
research.
worry, I know exactly where to start. In 16 something.
Yay! I get to read all German magazines from the early modern period. Aren't I a lucky boy?
Oh yeah, it's also almost all religious and philosophical. Whatever. I can't pronounce the damn word sometimes.
Philosophical.
Yep.
Yeah, you're good. Yay! Though I have something much more important to say. Well, actually, that's important too. But if you made it to the end of this stream, we really do appreciate it. That is awesome. You rock. If you want to do all the social media stuff, that's just a bonus. Lead us out, psyche boy.
All right. As he said, we are very thankful. But next time we will be exploring. Let's see here, 1928 and the 29. Yeah.
Maybe just 1928. We'll see.
All right. Next time is 1928. We will see what happens from there. Anyway, we can see you guys next time. And please. Oh wait, hold on. I have to drop it here. Hey, if you guys want to see Oz's itch.io and plays games, you can do that, right? Hey, see, give me a
Oh,
link. Give me a link. Give me a link.
ah, 1 second. Is it back up?
It should be up.
Fuck, I'm not logged in. 1 second.
I just got reminded. I'm like, oh wait, we should probably plug his games.
Wait, no, I can just find my, I haven't made a game in a while. I'm going to fix that soon. I should be. Did they? Oh no, they didn't delete it. Okay, sending the thing to you because I can't send things in Twitch because I'm not verified. Here you go.
All
Here's
right.
my little studio.
Here you go, people. This is Oz's itch page. It has his games there. I enjoyed them, honestly. Actually, I mean, for real, we might play these play these on stream at some point.
Oh god, I gotta bug fix them if we do that.
There'll be some fun tales to tell there. Anyway, enough detours, enough delays. We'll see you guys next time.
Hell yeah.